Hi guys, it's Crystal City, your homestead, and time for supper and another soup. So this one's called pot roast soup, but I'm going to do things a little bit different because I don't have a leftover pot roast, so I'm going to cook raw meat, so I'm going to do things just a little bit different. So it says to use vegetable oil, but because I'm using raw meat, I would much rather use butter. And then that way, I think that kind of gets into the meat better. It also does not call for celery, but I'm going to use up the rest of that bag of the mirepoix. So I'm going to put that in there. That makes some space in my freezer. And then, remember I bought that stew meat on clearance. And so I'm going to use that actually. So with these bags, I just need to open it up, and then the seal's broke. And then you can wash and reuse that bag. So let me throw that in the sink. You end up getting this for $4, and it was $6.29. And so we're going to pour that in there too. And let's get it stirred up a little bit. So that mirepoix has everything in it that it asks for, the onions and the carrots, except for we're going to add celery too. And that'll be just fine. So before I go to the next step, I want to address something. I know I've got that lady that keeps Caroline, keeps talking about money, etc., etc., etc. If I bring up that my videos aren't 8 minutes and so we don't get paid for it, that is true. And so I commented back to her today about the breakfast video, and you know, would you want to work for free? I love building my channel. I love my community, everything else, but I also want this to be my career. I want this to be my only job so that I can take you through everything, even after Tom retires, and we can take you on the road. And to do that, I need to be able to build my community, and it takes money. And it costs money to make food every day and everything. So anyways, so now I'm also going to add a little garlic to it. I don't know how much it says in here. Let's see, 2 garlic cloves. So let's do 2 really nice teaspoons full in there. A little garlic never hurt anybody. Now it says 3 medium russet potatoes peeled and diced. And you guys know those potatoes I got last time from Sam's, they are so small. So I've got 4 or 5 small potatoes. So we're going to dice those up. Let me move that out of the way. And I've got them in water over here, because you know if you don't, then, well, they turn brown. And it says to dice them, so I imagine that's small pieces. Next week I'm going to do more pantry things. Like, I've already been shopping for everything that I need. And even with house stuff, I think it comes up to like 10 or 12 bucks. You know, so I'm trying to make it so that it's stuff that we can get from our pantry. And I know, here comes money again. Save a little bit of money. And there's going to be a few, I don't know if you want to call them Mexican, whatever, but they're a few meals like that. How about fake Mexican meals? Does that sound better? I don't know. So I'm going to get all these diced up. I think this is going to be pretty good. And I can use something that I had in my freezer. And, you know, it still makes for a really inexpensive meal to make. I looked at Kroger yesterday, you know, because you can go through their vegetable department, and sometimes they have clearance out things too. They had a great big thing of mushrooms, and it was normally like $5 or something, and they had it for $1.75. But I didn't have anything I was going to make mushrooms with this week, so I didn't grab it. But when you go to those stores early in the mornings, a lot of times you can get really, really good deals on stuff, and you know, maybe it's not meats or vegetables that you would normally be able to afford, and you know, with doing that you can afford them. Because I know when my kids were younger and I was a single mom, things were tight, and you know, I would go to our local IGA first thing in the morning, and sometimes I could get pork chops or steaks or something like that from the day before, and I could save quite a bit of money, and then my kids could have something that we normally wouldn't have. So that was nice. I'm not opposed to saving money. And for Carolyn, even if I was rich, I would still try to save money where I could, because, you know, there's far better things to spend money on, just food or whatever. You know, people like to do things, or like I like to help people with things, and if I don't have money to do that, I can't help anybody either. So, you know, whether it means making extra portions at dinner, or, you know, buying someone something or whatever, all that takes money. I wished I had, like, I talked to one of my customers today, and I said, wouldn't that be nice if we just had a checkbook and we could write whatever bills we needed to every month and we didn't worry about it? He goes, wouldn't that be nice? And it would be, but you know, that's not life, so you deal with life. Probably getting bored with watching me do this, right? Sorry guys, time was just getting away with me. I'll be right back. Alright, so now the meat is done, and actually I think it's going to be nice and tender because I cooked it in the butter instead of using oil. So now we're going to add our potatoes to it. And when I do those, I rinse them quite a few times to get it most of the starch I can out, because nobody wants a like skimmy soup. Now I need to add 3 cups of beef broth. Now if you don't use a lot of beef broth, like I don't, I use a lot of chicken and vegetable. I do buy this Knorr's beef bouillon, and that stuff works so good, you guys, and it will save you from having to buy, you know, a bunch of, sorry, my brain just went. So you can make up what you want of your broth at whatever one time you want it. Now, next thing we're going to do, and I might add a little bit more broth because there isn't a whole lot of liquid in there. I like you know, a chunky soup, but not one that you don't get any broth. So this I have to bring to a boil, and once it gets to a boil, I'll come back and let's see what it says. It says to add the meat afterwards, but I've already added my meat, so it's already there. So I think I'm going to add another cup of broth in there, and maybe not. I'll look it over. So now it's come up to a boil, and it says to add your seasonings last, but I'm not going to do that because I want my seasonings to blend in with everything. So we need a can of tomato sauce. And then we need salt and pepper. That soup you guys yesterday was so good. There was none left over. Tom had 2 big bowls, and then I gave him a big bowl for lunch today. So there was no soup left whatsoever. And I didn't have seconds either. And then it says a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And then it says to use fresh parsley to just garnish it. But I thought, you know what? Why don't we just put some parsley in it? That would make a lot of sense to me. Because why not? It's our soup. So now I'm going to get all that stirred in. And then, of course, when you taste it, if it feels like you need something more, then you add it. You know what I mean? No big deal. All right, let's bring you over here and show you what it looks like so far. I got you on my bag there. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? So now I'm going to turn it down. And we're just going to let it simmer until the potatoes are fork tender. I can't wait to try it. All right, so soup is done. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And this is still piping hot, so let's see here. Really hot. That is so good. So good. So I think we have a winner pot roast soup. So now I'm going to leave that on my stove, cover it back up. It's not going to be on or anything, and that way it'll stay nice and hot. You know, last night's soup stayed hot for like the whole hour before Tom got home. So as long as that lid's on, it works great. They are on their way home, so I don't know when they'll be here exactly, but soon. Hopefully within an hour or so. But let me know if you've been liking Soup Week, and if you like using a lot of our pantry things, because I like to be able to do that and use up some of our pantry stuff. So I'll be back and I'll meet you at the table. Well, hi Tom.
Hello.
There's dinner. Put some crackers in it.
Yeah.
Pot roast soup.
I didn't get a piece of pot rolls. Gotta try again. There I got a piece of pot.
You're hilarious.
Delicious.
Yeah? So how much did you like last night's soup?
Well, if I ate it yesterday or today.
Did you have 2 big bowls of it last night?
You gave me that big bowl and I ate that all up. It was gone in 10 minutes.
Was it?
Yeah.
So is tonight's soup just as good?
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
I think it's got great flavor. Getting souped out yet?
Oh.
Awesome. All right, we're going to let the hungry man eat. You guys have a blessed night.
I'm down to 210 now.
Nice. I gained 2 pounds, so be quiet. I don't want to hear you. You guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing, and goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Tom.
You guys have a great night.